So Dan, February 2017 has been a really big month for community services. On your first day there was 2 announcements, one about WA Home and Community Care signing up to the Commonwealth model and also one on NDIS. So what does this mean for us?
Yeah, so that was a big first day. So the state government has been negotiating with Canberra for quite a while on exactly how the NDIS might work in WA, and they signed off on a locally administered but nationally consistent scheme. That was announced on the 1st of February, and on the very same day there was a sort of a knock-on effect in terms of HAC, or Home and Community Care, which also announced that from July 2018 that program would stop being administered by WA Department of Health and start being administered by the Commonwealth. They also pointed out that for another year after that there would be funding certainty provided to providers. Not quite sure what that means, but it does mean we have a little bit more time to get our house in order for the future of home and community care, which will become the Commonwealth Home Support Program. But exactly how and when those things happen and those changes happen is as yet not particularly well understood.
Now, you travelled over to Sydney in that 3rd week of February, quite an exciting event really. Minister Wyatt had a round table, and it wasn't just providers around the table. Tell us a bit about that trip.
It was a national roundtable on the subject of what's called the Aged Care Reform Roadmap, which was released last year and has been developed by the industry. And Minister Wyatt, relatively new to the portfolio, wanted to get in a room with about 100 representatives. Some were from providers like ourselves, some were peak bodies, there were some consumer representative groups, and to talk about where that reform is heading and how to make it work for the people of Australia, and in our case the people of Western Australia. So I was really impressed and taken with the fact that the Minister has made a big effort to get in on the ground to understand how things really work in aged care. He clearly really feels strongly about the sector, he cares about the sector, and he wants to drive the reform agenda consistently, with the ultimate goal of delivering a system which is more consumer-centric, more market-like, more efficient, more accessible. And I think he truly believes in those principles, and his hope is to take that roadmap to Cabinet and have it endorsed as government policy, which would be a real achievement. Look, there was lots of people in the room, lots of views, some excitement, some anxiety. You know, the transition through this reform is challenging, no doubt. It potentially leaves individuals, people we care for, in the lurch, and all the people in the room are conscious of trying to make sure that doesn't happen. But the reform has been consistently followed since 2011. It's actually a really strong and long sustained period for a government, in fact multiple governments, to stick to a particular agenda. And I think that kind of consistency is of great benefit to the sector and ultimately to the people who are going to need these care, which, let's face it, is just about everybody in the country.
The following week we had probably one of the biggest reforms we've had in home care packages. It's moved to that market model now, hasn't it? So
it has.
What does that mean for us?
Yeah, well, it's an interesting time for us. There's opportunity there because now anybody who's been assessed as eligible for a home care package can come to us and request services, level 3, level 4, whatever it is, we can offer it across all 3 organisations. We can deliver that, so we can help people as they transition into higher care needs, and we can pick up new clients and customers from other providers if the client's not happy or wants a particular part of their package to be delivered by us. Obviously, it also means that current home care package clients that we have can leave, which just keeps us on the edge of being able to deliver really good services, meet needs, deliver a great experience and good value for money. So, it's a really interesting time. It's a challenging time, and like you say, it's a big step forward for the industry. It's been many years in the making.
February is a big month, as we've said, and you also had some events around disability. Tell me a bit about that. Yeah,
that's right. Look, I went along to a couple of different conversations and dialogues. One was being hosted by the Disability Service Commission of WA, talking about exactly how the NDIS would unfold in Western Australia, including the timeframes for expansion over the next 3 years and some of the mechanics of how that might work. It's fair to say that there are lots of things they don't really know. They're entering a period of great change themselves. And again, there was a room full of providers and peak bodies and so on, including some folks who'd driven up from Albany to be there and have their say. And there's a lot of nervousness around transition, how it's going to work for individual clients, how it's going to work for providers. But equally, there's a lot of interest in the sector. A lot of new companies and not-for-profits have popped up wanting to deliver services in disability in Western Australia. And everyone's kind of positioning their services and trying to offer something special to clients. So yeah, it's an interesting time in disability as well. I also went to an industry-led dialogue about where the disability sector was heading, and the NDS, which is the local peak body, is hosting a dialogue and working with the sector to develop a bit of a roadmap or a strategy for the whole industry. And it was a very interesting opportunity just to reflect on where we're at today and how things are going to change and how we need to change as the NDIS, WA NDIS unfolds. So yeah, that was really worthwhile and good to meet other CEOs and senior sort of leaders in the sector.